Hotpatch is a big deal, and in May this year it'll be enabled by default for all eligible devices. So what does that mean? Well, Hotpatch is the feature that allows Windows 11 devices to update without a reboot. That sounds brilliant. But what makes a device eligible then? Well, there are a few things actually, but first let's take a look at Chris Tulett's blog, because Chris Tulett put together a short introduction to why they're doing this, and you can see that, for example, it's enabling organizations to patch at least half as quickly, twice as quickly, half as quickly, faster than they did before. So when you enable devices to install an update without a reboot, the people are more likely to have the update installed because they don't need to reboot and interrupt their day. And so you can see for a company of up to 30,000 devices, they used to have security compliance within 6 days. It's a bit aspirational. But now they're looking at getting compliant within 3 days, which I think is pretty good. So scrolling down a little bit, you can see that the process of how they're going to enable this is all detailed here. I'll put that link in the comments. But back to eligibility. First, the device needs to be running Windows 11 24H2. And it also needs to have installed April's update, because that's a baseline update. And there needs to be a couple of things configured in Intune as well. But first, I'll start with what a baseline update is. And Hotpatch works on a quarterly basis. So the baseline updates are January, April, July, and October. And baseline updates always need a reboot. The months between those are rebootless updates that Hotpatch enables. So those are February, March, May and June, August and September, and November and December. So as long as the device has the latest baseline, in this case April, then it can get the May and June rebootless update. Pretty simple. Then there's the Intune config. So in order to be eligible, devices need to be secured with virtualization-based security, or VBS. That's not a new thing, and it's definitely recommended whether you're wanting Hotpatch or not. So we do need a policy in Intune to turn that on. And it's a good idea to have some quality update policy in place to specify exactly how you want the updates to apply. Let's jump in and configure these. The first thing we need to do is, here you can see it says we've got some prerequisites. We can click into that and it takes us to this, and then you can see VBS is the first thing you get to. So I'm going to click on VBS here and it takes you to the Enable Memory Integrity Learn article. And we can scroll down, learn all about what memory integrity is, and it tells you how to turn it on. So if you want to use Windows security, you can just go in and do that on a per computer basis. If you want to use Intune, you do this, GPO this, etc., etc. So I'm going to use Intune because I like Intune and I've got Intune configured on my devices. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go to VBT, virtualization-based technology, and enable hypervisor enforced code integrity. Very easy to do. So we'll go to the Intune portal, choose devices and Windows and configuration, create a new policy when it loads, create a new policy, over to Windows 10 and later, and we're going to do a settings catalog, choose create, and here I'm going to enable VBS, if I can type it. Choose next, and we're going to add settings, and those settings are going to be virtualization, and we'll scroll past all the app V stuff to virtualization-based technology. Click on that, and we're going to enable hypervisor enforced code integrity. Click on that, and it puts it in the settings area for us here. All good. Now there's three options with hypervisor enforced code integrity. We are going to have it disabled, which is currently what it's set to, or that's the default in that case on this policy. We can also enable it with UEFI lock and without UEFI lock. Both of these will satisfy the requirement for Hotpatch. It just needs to be enabled. The difference between UEFI lock and not UEFI lock is that for UEFI lock you need to have physical access to the device or turn off secure boot in order to unlock that. So if you enable it with UEFI lock, that's a pretty permanent thing unless you can have physical access to the device or the ability to access the UEFI BIOS remotely. Anyway, you need to turn it off in UEFI, which is why it's called UEFI lock. I'm going to enable it without UEFI lock and choose next. And no scope tags in this environment. I'm going to enable it for all devices would work. Now, because that will obviously push it to all devices, it's probably a good idea to be using all devices, but maybe you want to pilot it first. So maybe add a group first and push it to those devices first. Just good deployment practice to test it first before you push it to everyone. We're going to enable all devices though in this case and choose next. And I'm going to scroll down and choose create. And now I've enabled hypervisor code integrity for my devices. Where it is, there it is. Now, the other thing we need to do is enable a quality update policy. I don't think I've got one in this environment, and we just go down to Manage Windows Updates. And you can see we've got the options across the top here. Oh, they are still pushing the Hotpatch enablement thing, because one of the things you can do if you don't want to use Hotpatch is to opt out. And we'll talk about that just in a few minutes, so don't skip. We will first go to quality updates, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And in my tenant, I don't have the Windows diagnostic data thing turned on. That's probably a good idea. So again, we'll come back to that in a minute. I want to just get through creating this policy without getting distracted. We'll choose create, and we're going to do a Windows quality update policy. I'm going to call this quality, can never type, updates. Now, quality updates are anything but feature updates. So these are security updates mainly, or things that affect the quality of the device itself. And you can see we've now got automatic update policy. We have allow is the only option here. So we are going to allow quality updates because that's really important. But also we are going to enable it with without restarting, effectively enabling Hotpatch. So that's now enabled. So I'm going to choose next. And from here, we need to add the groups that we're applying this to. So it's not possible to add all devices. We need to specify a group. I actually don't have a group that contains all of my devices just yet. So we can instead just choose a group to show you what that looks like. But I'll go for sales and marketing. Now, your goal would be to effectively add all of your devices to a group and attach it to that group so that they all get the Windows Update, Windows Hotpatch policy. Next, we can choose create. Now, one of the things I've done is enabled Hotpatch, but as you'll see in this option up here, when I remove these, all devices from May 12th will receive Hotpatch if they're eligible. Now, eligibility doesn't mean they have that policy which enables Hotpatch. The thing they're going to enable is that it affects all devices that are otherwise eligible through all the other stuff we've talked about. So if you want to opt out, you can click opt out, go into the tenant admin section in here, and then we go down to Autopatch, and then tenant management, and you can see we've got the tenant actions here. If you don't want to use Hotpatch, you will choose opt out here, or choose block here. And it didn't work when I clicked that. It's interesting, might come back to that later on. We'll leave it as allow for now. I'm not getting into that right now, that's not the point of this video. I'll go back to devices, and I want to just show you the other thing that we were looking at, which was Windows updates along to quality, and this one here, the diagnostic data. By default, it's not enabled. You do need to go in and enable it, so I'm going to just choose that, and we have this Windows data up here. This is essentially giving Microsoft access to more data so that they can give you a better report and better status and progress and that kind of thing. So if we enable that, then they'll be able to provide those extra bits of information that we need. I'll choose save, and that's pretty much it, I think. Alright, so that wasn't that bad. If you've got any questions, or if you've done all this and you're using Hotpatch, let me know in the comments. See you next time.